Hello everyone and welcome back to Endzone. Now day 22, once again we have a bit of an overpopulation problem here. As we can see, water and food is still not so stable. We have 30 children almost right now, and this is really bad. So there's way too many people coming in. We do get a few quests here now as well, as we can see that we could have. But for now I would like to have my first decree issued here, and that is the birth control. So this effect of a lasting decree has an ongoing impact on the settlement until its abatement period. The point in time when the decree is no longer enforced has elapsed. Very strange text there, but still, this one here now, birth control for 3 seasons, so 3 days it works, and this is now working. So there's no longer going to be any new children from now on. 29 we already have anyway, so yeah. If these are those are instructions, chief, then that's the way we'll stick to them. Of course, they will have to be happy with that. There's a minor confidence penalty for that, but it's working. We have 11 homeless settlers. I would like to have another shelter there. Let's have this shelter over here in this corner where we still have a bit of space available, right next to the industry sector. Then one more shelter for additional population control, since we're really going skyrocketing there. We're having over 100 people now living in this town. Now something else is coming up. So scraps is low as always. We do have 2 scrapyards working now. This one is working as well again, so it wasn't working because the scraps here were gone. So hopefully this is working. Another charcoal kiln because we need more coal. It's insane how much we really need. And yeah, we do need, well, more recyclers as always. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to push, let's say, 4 more, or yeah, let's actually say 4 more recyclers that we will need in this corner here as well. Let's have a road around them as well here. That's more people. Of course, the people are coming in, so the workforce will be fine on that. The irrigator should be working now too. There it is over here, irrigation plant. It's going to consume a bit of water, but it's going to moisturize these fields, and we are going to need that because a drought is imminent, is coming in here pretty soon. And since we're also running out of basically everything, tools and clothes, let's also go ahead and spam us a few more workshops and tailor workshops. So there is the workshop that we can have. I'm probably going to have then 2 here, so we could have one like that and another one then like that. Let's just build them right away, to be honest, because why not? And the same goes for the tailor shop. We have one here, so I'm going to have another one like that, and then we can have one here as well in this corner, right? So there more tailor workshops are piling up more or less. And all the people that are growing up, we can use them then right away in those. Now my hunter is still hopefully trying to capture some animals, and we can check that here we don't have anyone yet that we could use for that. So he's still hunting and capturing, and hopefully getting us a few animals then in here. I might actually put this one to capture only at the moment, right? So chicken might be the one. So there is chicken nearby. We would need to capture them. I'm going to have one herder. This one is now working then on the pasture here, and this one is hopefully getting us some chicken in here then soon. And very good. After a bit of time, the first chicken we have here. So let's choose this type of animal, and as we can see, we can now decide how many we want to keep. So up to 10, and then we slaughter them. They also produce us some eggs, so the more chickens we have, the more eggs we produce. So up to 10, and then we slaughter everyone that's coming above that. Chickens will need some water, so another thing of water consumption that we have here, that we basically will need to tackle as well. And for that, we are really low on basically everything here right now, but I will still need to build more wells as well to tackle all that water problem, right? So we have a well already here. I might have now another one then also the settlement somewhere there, right? So there we have it, because we do need water basically all the time. Next to the cemetery over here, another well, perfect. And then here in my industry district, I would also like to have another well up here in this corner. And there we have 7 more settlers. So some of them are going to be builders, some of them are going to be farmers. So we do have big fields, so we need more of them. And then another herder and another gatherer here, because I think someone died, and this is now being in place here as well. Ooh, that's that. And let's also have another dirt road then here going up into this area. So the industry sector is growing there as well a bit. We are totally out of scraps. We have some in reserve yet that are going to be used, but that's it. And coal is also out. I've built a second charcoal burner. I'm going to assign more people to that as well. Now let's actually reassign one teacher to the charcoal burner. I think that's just much better short-term wise. Poor teacher is working now burning wood. It's a sure thing, this new tailor shop. Yep, we build one and we get 21 carpet masks as a reward. So this is helping a bit, although a tiny bit. This is really, really dramatic there right now. Another recycler that produces metal. This one produces metal, and those two are producing cloth because we do need that as well. So the next children that are growing up, as we can see, it's going down here, the children up, because there's no new children coming after them, which is good. The decrease still intact, so it's still working for us. And we have 23 homeless. That should be solved once this shelter here has been built. That's still taking time as well because it needs scrap, like everything right now. So I might actually build a third scrapyard. Meanwhile, the pasture is working fine. We have already 3 chicken now, and as we can see, 12 eggs are being produced here twice a day, really. So this is quite a lot of food coming in addition now, only with 3 chicken. The fields, we should be seeing the effect of the irrigation now because we have the next drought, right? So that's a problem, but the fields continue to work because they're wet. Soil moisturization is perfect around the irrigation plant. Of course, water is then going down here, but at least everything around it stays moisturized, and that's important for the fields here. And as we can see, they are still working and harvest still coming in. Now, everything that we wanted has been built so far. Let's go ahead and reduce the amount of builders and reassign them to the well keepers, gatherers, a third herder that we have, the last 3 refiners. So all 3 recyclers here are working now. Another teacher once again. And yeah, we do have tailors and the technicians that could still work for us. That's actually pretty important. Let's get the technicians on the way there, because without tools, productivity across the settlement drops pretty hard. And with more tools available again, it's going up again. So there we have now 4 workshops working for us. Yep, 2 of them are going to specialize in scrap tools, 2 of them are having the metal tools, so we have a nice balance there overall. At least medicine we have plenty of right now in store. If that's the only thing, well then, that's the only thing. The drought is hopefully ending soon. Boy, it's dry out there. And my soil is looking pretty dry. But why can we not get this stable? I mean, look at my industry. It's pretty high. We only have 100 people in this town. And you tell me this is not enough? Very good. At least the pasture is now full of chickens. So 10 out of 10. There we have them. And as we can see, we're also producing now some meat. Actually, 3 times a day. Perfect. And the eggs then as well. Now the remaining children are growing up right now, so we are down to 1 child that is growing up as well in a second. So we have over 100 adults then working. The decrease should be deactivated now. Yep, it is. So it's gone actually, and that means more children will come in. But we do have a bit of a breathing room here with not so many people coming after that. I would like to assign a few more than to... First of all of them to builders, because I've got 2 more workshops here now that we need to build. I would like to get my tools up there. Scraps at least we have plenty of. So that means I can have a couple more recyclers there once again. And I'm going to have a couple more here. Very important that we get this one really under control here, because it's just not very good if everything is red and down. So 2 more workshops. I'm also going to have another tailor shop here. I just don't believe that we really, realistically speaking, need that much, but it seems the game wants us to build that many buildings here. Let's go ahead and do this one. Coal we have a bit, but cloth is the culprit there. So these recyclers are going to produce some cloth. That's important thing. For food, yep, the drought is gone. That should be fine. I would also like for water to go ahead now and have... We could have the water tower that is storing the water, and we could filter it with a bit of coal to get rid of the radiation. That sounds like a pretty good idea. So let's have the water tower right down here in the... close to the lake there, basically, right? It's a pretty big building, a pretty important one. And then we have a jetty This one we can use then to, well, get some water from the lake itself. So let's have a jetty here right next to the fisherman and a cistern that is collecting the water that we need from the jetty, or well, actually that we can get from the jetty then, right? So there we have then the cistern right next to the well. This should tackle the water problem. Water consumption, of course, is pretty high right now because we also have now lots of buildings that consume water, like the pasture, like the irrigation plant that, by the way, I put to off. So irrigation is none right now. We only need that in droughts, really, right? So I don't need to consume any water there for the moment, but that's fine. So 10 builders are working on that to finish those constructions as quickly as possible. And I just hope that with that we should be stabilizing all of that. I would really like to focus on expeditions and research, but as long as we don't have our settlement is stabilized, I can't do that. Wood is also going down because we consume wood through coal and tools and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and have another forester lodge. We have one over here, so I'm going to have one now in this area here too. Very good. All of these buildings have been finished. Also down here, the cistern has been finished. The water tower still takes a bit of time because it's just a very big and massive building, but the construction is starting now. And what we can do is, let's reassign some of those builders now to those additional buildings. So first of all, the forester is pretty important, so let's assign 4 more to that. We are going to need that wood. It's pretty low already as is. And then I'm going to assign the remaining ones probably to the refiner and to the technicians, because more tools is what we need. There's the water tower now. This one needs a person to work in there. Oh, and by the way, I think I made a mistake here. The water tower does the same thing as the cistern, but it can store way more water. But we don't need this one here to work right now. So I will actually put this one off, right? So there's no people going to work here. The remaining builders that we have, let's have some of them as water carriers. And then I'm going to have 2 of them as refiners. That's pretty much all I can do right now. And now we can only wait for hopefully our resources to stabilize. There we can see now water tower. They are going for the jetty there and getting the water into the tower. Up to 90,000 we can store here. And also the wells that are close by, they can also store the water right in there, so they're no longer that full. So that means we can have, yeah, up to 90,000 water in total now in our settlement. And as we can see, they're all getting those resources now over there, as they should. Food-wise, let's just forget the food situation for now. The next children are coming in, and as we can see, adults is going down because old people are dying. That's a problem, of course, because we're losing workforce here now across the board. I'm going to reassign some of them. So once again, teacher is going down here a bit. Also, herbalist is going down. We have enough herbs there, really. Let's have only 1. And instead, oh, very good. Actually, tools is going up there again nicely. So let's have 1 more technician and 1 more charcoal burner and 1 more tailor, right? So they can work then in those areas to help tackle a bit the problems that we have. That's still working. I don't know why water flickers red all the time. We have plenty of that in store right now. I'm also going to assign one of these shelters to only old and infertile. So as we can see now, only old people are living in here. So that's 15 right now. And they no longer reserve space for my cabins. We still have 13 homeless though. I might actually... They would actually be able to be squeezed in there, almost all of them. But let's have, since we do have, yeah, resources are stabilizing a bit. Let's have a few more of these shelters here, or cabins that we can still build. 2 more down here. And yeah, there we have a problem right now because of the birth control. We don't have any coming workforce at the moment, right? So I need to wait, and everyone that we lose, we permanently lose there, and that person cannot work. But the upside is that, yeah, resources are stabilizing finally, just a bit here, as we can see across the board. Now for my scrapyard, I can have the next one now working up here. For the first time, we're working these house ruins themselves. So they have lots of scrap. There's 2,500 scrap available in that village here. Of course, there's some interesting locations here as well that we should not marked for salvage yet. So this one here, for example, they're not being salvaged. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff in there that we can send some scouts to. Speaking about scouts, I don't have the workforce for expeditions yet. We are in fact going down here on the adults at the moment to 92 only, 91, because the old people are dying. So this is not directly affecting most of my workforce, even though what I can see is my hunters are down. We can do hunting again, so no more capturing. Actually, we don't need the chickens. Yep, so hunt for the hunters, but who should we assign to that? I don't have anyone that I could assign. Even though water is going so tremendously up right now, let's have 2 of them working as hunters again. Right, so that's that. And 27 children again, so plenty of new workforce coming soon, actually. Yep, very good. We're going to need them. We're going to need all of them here for our recyclers, our refiners. Okay, while we solve one problem, another one goes up, and that is the radiation, as we can see. Oh, a major portion of the food reserves we've stockpiled seems to be contaminated, Chief. We urgently ought to do something about that. For the health, so the contamination post we do need now. And let's just check the levels for that. And yes, everything here is radiated with only light, though, light levels. There is some medium level over here. So that might grow then into something, and as we can see also the fields are radiated. Very bad indeed. This is, well, reducing the health of my citizens, and at the same time then also increases my medicine consumption. So we should tackle that pretty soon. There's some workforce coming in again finally, so we can use them now. Some of them are going to go right into fishing. We don't have any radiation protection. A lot of tools. I'm happy to see the tools at least stable. Let's assign those people here to tailor then right away, because we need more of the radiation protection. There's that, basically all of them really, since 26 settlers are without protection at the moment. I think we finished, yep, the next cabin down here, and this cabin here I would like to finish, and then I'm going to assign the last builder there as well to more tailors. 24 children, holy moly, there's lots of them coming in now. That feels good. For time, because I'm pretty sure that at some point we are going to have too many people again. And since resources are looking good, I really would like to start with my expeditions then at some point. So let's go ahead with the expedition station. This one is going to use workforce that are going, well, out there into the world. Let's just find us a suitable location for this. Probably here close to my industry sector, a bit over there. It's very hard to actually reserve some space there if you don't know how much space we really are going to need. What the? Let's just have it right here in the more or less town center, right? So we can squeeze it in nicely in this corner there. Oh, yeah, well, radiation, of course, but that's fine. There we have it's actually needing a lot of resources, right? So it's going to take a while. Oh, let's assign the remaining people to builders so they can really tackle this one. We need to chop down the trees first, then we need to get the resources over. Quite a lot of work, and let's have the road here then as well. And here another road, so this is looking actually pretty fine then. And right next to it we could have then more housing, for example, people living here, right close to the forum. Then yeah, actually let's go ahead and have 2 cabins here. We can squeeze them in just nicely. That should be fine. Oh, yep, it's looking good resource-wise. We actually have lots of metal there as well. Cloth is still not looking so fine. We're lacking still some refiners there in the cloth department. I think so, yep. And tailors we would need more as well. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Another drought is coming in, so I will now need to put the irrigation plant to high again, even though food and water reserves are still fine. Let's also go ahead actually and build a second school. We do have the place down here right away, right next to the other school. Let's have a second one. Since we have over 20 children, but 10 can go into each school, so a second school makes sense. They just are way more productive than later on. Do we have someone with education somewhere? Goes eating and drinking tools, education there. He's got some minor or some half education, 50%, right? So he's much more effective than uneducated citizens. At least that's something. Perfect, the next cabins are coming along. Expedition still takes its time. Scrap is missing, plastic is missing, metals, but we do have that in store, so that should not take too much time there anymore. And there it's coming along, another big building. And boom, the expedition center. Now with the expedition center, we do need to assign some people to that. Down here we have them, so some scouts and some explorers. They will also produce some rations that we are going to need for those expeditions. Let's have one of them for now working in there. Let's make it 2, since we do have that, right? The remaining people, up to down to 1 builder. The remaining ones are going to be 1 into well keeper, fisher. Nah. Let's make the tailors there. There we have 1 more tailor, 1 more charcoal burner. We're just needing those thingies, and 1 more technician there. Even though tools is looking fine, you can never have enough of that. And my radiation protection is actually going up now pretty nicely too. Refiner, 1 more. Perfect. So we have now 16 working on that. It seems like that is the sweet spot for now. Over 100 adults there again. The last builder is working on the streets and stuff like that. And we should be seeing now those 2 people. We should be able to scout. And with that, we can actually do that. So we now have on the map, as we can see, there's our settlement. And around us, we have some interesting locations, right? So those things here. There is a shelter over there. There's some buildings over there. And we can go there and scout. So let's send 1 scout here. And we still have 1 more that we can send to... Let's go into these ruins up there. And let's send another one up to this area there. They are scouting and finding us some interesting thing, and then we can have an expedition for it, right? That is then going to produce or get us some materials out of that. Now, when it comes to materials, cloth is still a bit low, but the rest is looking really good. And that means we have actually room for something else that we can build, something else that we can specialize in, and that is research, because we would need electricity, and we can only do that in research. And with electricity, we can boost our whole industry and our whole settlement there once more. But for now, let's wait for the scouts to return, and then we continue here. Stay tuned.